In the quiet town of Millville, nestled deep in the heart of the countryside, there was a woman who lived alone in an old, run-down house on the edge of town. Her name was Emily, and she was a notorious serial killer who had been preying on unsuspecting victims for years. Emily was a striking woman, with piercing green eyes and long, curly black hair that cascaded down her back. She had a way of drawing people in, of making them feel comfortable in her presence, and that was how she was able to lure her victims to their doom. Her preferred hunting ground was the local food store, where she would wait for hours, watching as men of a certain age and physical appearance would come in and buy a certain brand of cereal. Once she had identified her target, she would follow them out to their car, strike them from behind, and then take them back to her house to torture and kill them. It wasn't until the bodies started piling up that the police began to take notice. At first, they thought it was just a string of random murders, but as the evidence began to pile up, they realized that they were dealing with a serial killer. The people of Millville were terrified. They had always thought of their town as a safe haven, a place where nothing bad ever happened, but now they were living in fear, not knowing who might be the next victim of the serial killer. Despite their best efforts, the police were unable to catch Emily. She was too clever, too cunning, and always seemed to be one step ahead of them. It wasn't until a chance encounter with a victim who had managed to escape that they were able to finally track her down. The survivor, a young man named John, had been shopping for his favorite brand of cereal when Emily had targeted him. He had managed to fight her off and escape, but not before he had gotten a good look at her and her car. Using that information, the police were able to track down Emily's house and storm it. Inside, they found a gruesome scene. The walls were covered in blood, and there were body parts strewn about everywhere. Emily was sitting in the corner, calmly sipping a cup of tea, as if nothing was wrong. She didn't put up a fight, didn't resist arrest. She simply smiled and said, "I guess my luck finally ran out." In the end, Emily was tried and convicted of her crimes. She was sentenced to life in prison, but the people of Millville would never forget the terror she had brought to their town. They would always remember the serial killer and the way she had haunted their dreams for years to come.